So for the benefit of our two guests, and if any other guests join, they're going to miss this, but this is the Trusted Referral Network. We're a network of about 170, 180 now members, all small marketing services providers around the country. We get together on a weekly basis. Even though we've got 180 people, obviously we don't have them all at every meeting. I would say we've got, I don't know, maybe 60 diehards who are frequent attendees, which is great. But over time, I think what we want to do is get more diehards and fewer interlopers, because it's all about the folks that you meet. And if they don't show up, they're not getting anything out of it, and neither are the other members. It's not restricted, so it doesn't hurt to have those people at least on the list, but we want to make this a more vibrant community over time. I know I personally have gotten lots of leads from my networking, this network, of course, and then another network I started, which is also a marketing network that's just in New York. And I've already met at Greg's Beers and Referrals event, a couple of really strong potential business partners. So yeah, I'm a firm believer in networking for small businesses. I think most of us around this screen are as well. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So what we'll do, we usually have a 15-minute a showcase. Sometimes it's sort of on the fly. If anybody wants to either bring up or do a showcase on the fly, again, it's a small group, or bring up a topic that they want to discuss, we could do that in the first 15 minutes or so. Keith Reynolds, what's your thoughts?
I did a presentation at the library, the Stanford's Ferguson Library. And I have the speaking notes. I'm not all set up to do it, but it was kind of interesting. It was, to some anyways, it was about using AI to create content and where the market is and some of the tools.
It sounds relevant. Yeah, I think that would be cool. Do you have, you say you have the notes or whatever? Do you want to bring things up, or is it just
if you could keep the crowd entertained for a couple minutes, I'll go find the notes.
I can definitely do that. I will get my tap dancing shoes on. And anybody else have anything they want to bring up as a brainstorming topic? Geoff is going to be releasing, that's the conversation that was going on at the beginning of the call, is going to be publishing a book. He's promised December 1st release, and now he's scrambling to make that happen. But we're all looking forward to it. It is the book on case studies. So when you introduce Geoff in the future, you will introduce him as the guy who wrote the book on case studies. Yeah.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, it's going to get out there. One way, like I said, one way or the other, it'll get out there. I wouldn't have announced it to the world if, I wasn't going to fulfill the commitment.
That's right. Yeah, if you make a hard promise, you gotta fulfill it. So
you go.
Geoff, what's your book's name? What's it called?
Michael actually just said it's going to be called The Book on Case Studies.
Oh, it's called The Book on Case Studies.
That's exactly why he named it that. So we could say he wrote the book on case studies.
You know exactly what it is.
Geoff, you really ought to be in marketing.
Yeah, I should think about that.
Exactly.
I'm actually taping a podcast after this to talk about the book. So
wonderful.
Well,
and our people are
congratulations.
Anybody else? I know Ron Hubsher has written a book or two. One book on negotiations, a book on closing time. That was his first. Any recommendations or suggestions for Geoff? Is this your first book, Geoff?
It is, yes.
Yeah, just I don't know exactly where you are in the process, and this is for anybody who's interested in writing a book. No one reads anymore. So my book, I don't have a copy right here, but it was 85 pages. And so 15 years ago, I'd hand it out, and people go, wow, it's only 85 pages. This is awesome. I'm going to read on the plane. It takes about an hour to read. And I'd hand out 10 books, and 8 of them would get read, or 7 would get read, and it was a great source of leads. Now, literally, I give out hundreds of books, and no one reads them. So keep your book short. Don't worry about it. It could be literally blank. and no one reads anything anymore. And, you know,
Lorem ipsum.
yeah, and I know in my own life, like I read a Yahoo article, and by the time I get to the third paragraph, I'm like, oh, when's this thing going to end? So just keep it short. And if do you have it written already? Is it pretty much written?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, I would just
Well,
finish it.
he's launching December 1st, so I would hope he started.
Yeah, and then just go on Amazon. Make it easy on yourself, man, because otherwise it's just a pain in the butt. Just make it simple. And really, it's just these days, it's just sort of like, you know, a $3 or $4, whatever it costs, business card.
Exactly.
Right. So just get it done. Don't overthink it. Literally, and I you know, it's sad to say, but no one's going to read it. Nobody, no one reads my book. I mean,
Well, you know what's kind of interesting? Through another networking group, I actually met a gentleman who teaches marketing and sales at Temple University. And he said, since seeing me at these networking events, he started talking about case studies in his courses. So I said, hey, we need to hop on a conversation. And we got on a conversation. I said, hey, you know, as long as you're talking about it, maybe you want a book to go along with that for your students. And he said, you know what, when it's done, let me read. And if it's good, yeah, I'll put it in the curriculum. So I may have an angle into this becoming a textbook.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
That's
And
good.
then they're forced to read it, or no? Well, it's still, they probably only get about 40 or 50% of the students will actually read it. You need to put out the cliff notes on top of that.
Yeah.
But they're forced to buy it, which is good for my bottom line.
Yeah, and you know, you don't make a ton of money off books.
No.
We self-publish, and you know, some clients buy a couple thousand, so make money on that, but it's rare. Like, you know, retail sales.
Authority builder type of thing. My business card is my sort of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And to say that you wrote the book on case studies, since it is
It's
called
worth
the
it
book
just for
on
that.
case studies.
That's pretty huge.
Just
Yeah.
for that. Exactly. All
But
right. So
it's a tool, you know, like anything, it's used in your communications process. If you map it out, you know when to pull it out. You can give it away when you do public speaking. You can, you know, there's creative things you can do to add value.
And you know,
yeah,
the thing
you could excerpt from it for blogs and
Yeah.
you know and
Exactly.
for LinkedIn posts and you
Yeah.
refer to it all the time.
Yeah, I think the
For
next thing is
diagrams.
probably to develop a course and hopefully be able to try to sell a course using the material. So, you know, hopefully spin out some other products from it.
Yeah,
Very cool.
the course is really like, that's the way you make your money, or at least in our business, that's the way we make our money. The book is just sort of a nice thing. It's like part of the pre-work. And what we also do is, and I'd be happy to show anybody, we do explainer videos for each chapter, which are like a minute. I mean, if anybody wants to see it, I'd be happy to show you. And that's, you know, that's what people actually consume.
Ron,
That would be cool.
terrific. You know,
Maybe you should do a showcase on sort of how you use your book with the videos to promote your business.
Yeah, absolutely be happy to do that.
That'd be great. You know where the calendar is, the showcase calendar? I'm sorry.
I
Yeah,
do
the
not.
showcase calendar.
I
All
do
right.
not.
If you go to the website, trustref.net, it should be under events. So there's a showcase calendar under the events.
Okay.
Yeah, look for it there. I'm trying to bring it up. Yeah.
You want to just put me in for a
TRN
date?
showcase. What's that? Here, I'm going to put it in the I'll
Okay.
put it in the chat too.
Cool.
Yeah, the next available would be December 13th, 21st, 27th.
Okay.
But here, and if anybody else, of course, this is there's the sign up calendar. You could also find it on it's a second menu item under events on the Trusted Referral Network.
Okay.
All right, Keith, are you ready to do
Yes, I am.
your showcase? We'll give you 15 minutes. You don't need to take it all. Do you want to have questions interspersed? Do you want people to drop questions in the chat? How do you want to do it?
We can just turn it into a conversation. I'm going to post here and then share the outline.
Are you? Do you need to share the screen?
Yes.
Okay, now you
I
can do
can.
it. Okay, go for it. So the Google Doc. Okay, there you go. Go ahead.
So I'm in a pro speakers group, and it's been a real skill builder. And every once in a while, we have a chance to showcase like you put on, Michael, and we pick a topic and this time it was AI, and I did the writing, and another guy who is in, he's a creative and comes out of the Marvel world, and he did it on the art aspect and creating graphics and photos and the ethics and so forth of all of both. We had a conversation about many aspects, so I welcome you to do the same, but here's kind of the overview I put together. Are you familiar with Jasper?
No.
All right, so let me do this again.
Oh, I think I know Jasper's an AI bot for writing, right?
Yes. So here's some marketing hype from Jasper.
It's a video. You'll need to share your audio.
That's why I went out. Let me know if this works for you. Can you see the video?
Yeah.
Say hey to Jasper. Artificial intelligence makes it fast and easy to write content for your blog, social media, website copy, and more. Writer's block have you stuck? Not anymore. Now you can scale up content 5 times faster using AI. So, how does Jasper work? Get started at jasper.ai. Once you're in, choose from over 50 different writing skills Jasper already knows. Simply tell the AI what you want to write about, and then press generate. Instantly before your eyes, watch Jasper write content for you. And since Jasper has read 10% of the internet, it knows all about your niche and is trained by expert marketers to write emotional, persuasive copy. Do you want to write high-quality blog content fast? Then activate Boss Mode. This lets you command your AI assistant directly in documents like, "Hey Jasper, write a paragraph about aliens in the tone of voice of Joe Rogan." Haha, dang, look at that. Now you just got to make your edits, rephrase, and then generate your next paragraph. It's that fast and easy. Jasper writes original content that's plagiarism-free, optimized for SEO, and drives sales. That's why Jasper is rated 5 stars and over 3,000 reviews.
For the first time ever, we have content that's like actually really ranking.
You've probably seen copy already that was written by it, and it's so good that even I have seen copy that's written by it and never realized.
I can do so much more, so much faster because I'm cutting out a lot of the legwork in the copywriting, which is staring at the blank page and wondering what the heck I'm going to write about, right?
We invite you to join the most engaged community in content marketing with over 50,000 people in Jasper Nation. Get started now at jasper.ai.
Commercial.
That's really cool.
Yeah, welcome to the world of AI. And so I did a little research.
Doesn't know how to spell artificial or intelligence. I think you cut the video when it hadn't quite finished.
Or whirl.
That was spelling it out.
That was my little cartoon, actually. Okay, so AI, you can look around and find that it's a large market, and the trajectory of it, is expected to be 20% over the next 7 years. And
$1.4 trillion is about 10% of our 5% of our total economy. That's a little hard to believe, but whatever.
trillion or billion?
Well, 1,000 trillion or 1.4 thousand trillion. It's right. 1,000 billion is a trillion.
Right.
So this is 1,394. 1,400 billion would be a trillion. 1.4 trillion.
Exactly. It's estimates are all over the place if you Google it.
20% growth over 11 years or 8 years will always be a big number.
Yeah, that's true.
Compound annual growth rate.
Yeah.
Right. So, and the numbers are all over the place. Here's 95 billion in 2021 and growing 415 billion. The point is nobody knows, and it's growing, and there's a lot of hype, and that, just like the ad right now, but there are things you can do with it too. One of the things that's driving growth behind that is data creation. Just the ability for all databases and data sets and people to keep track and gain value from data is driving the AI. And it's in the background, and it's how calendaring syncs up and all kinds of tools you use, but you never see it. So reasons that you need a AI creation tool, and this was, specifically for writing, kind of building on that commercial from Jasper.
Can you expand that? Zoom in a bit. It's we can see the big titles, but the stuff underneath.
Well, yeah.
You could zoom on your browser or something. There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Excellent. So feel free to expound on any of this if you do this and you have a perspective. But these are
I think the concept of content ideation. I mean, there's a guy in the group, although hasn't shown up in a while, who's got a tool called Ink for All, I think, and it does SEO. It will actually research other articles that have done well in SEO, and then use that as the foundation for your article based on the keywords that you input. So I think it's a great starting point. Obviously, it depends on the content. For example, I've got a prospect he's an agency. He's got
hey now, this is Billy F. Gibbons saying, have mercy.
Billy Gibbons, ZZ Top. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
If anybody was snoozing, you got him awake. That's for sure. Nothing else.
Keep dancing, Mike.
Yeah. So he's actually looking for a blog writer for one of his clients that makes road paint. They actually do road painting using a paint that is actually made of concrete. And it's just so specialized, right? So if you put in, road paint made out of concrete, there'd be nothing, it's just not enough information on the web to create something valuable. But I imagine for lots of businesses, it's a great start, right? You start with what does the AI come up with? You don't have to do a lot of the research, and then you could tweak it from there and add some of your own research if you want. But it is a super powered, it's a very powerful tool for getting started.
Yeah, and I think actually, as I developed my business from copywriting to specifically the version of case studies that we do, that was part of the reason in going the direction that we did, because kind of saw the writing on the wall that these AI programs are kind of the wave of the future in copywriting. So, yeah, they're coming.
Yeah, I mean, especially SEO copywriting, because you're trying to generate content to address an algorithm, and I presume it matters if people actually read it. The clicks that it gets. Of course, you can create a bot to click through it, but the idea is create content that you can put on your website that's relevant to your business, that's going to drive traffic. And nobody really cares if it's Shakespeare as long as it's not stupid, right? So
yeah, and I think back to where you started was the content ideation. You keyed in on that. If you're on a deadline to write, it can be a really useful tool.
Yeah, I imagine that even copywriters are going to be using this, because they're going to get more and more. It becomes more and more competitive as these tools become available. So you can't do it manually, right? You need to start with something so that you can generate content relatively quickly, clean it up with your own unique style or with what style that the client's looking for, where that can't be generated, or that layer of intelligence is not yet there for you for your clients.
So this site, all the copy for this site here, this little micro site for Encaptify, where welcome, Michael, thanks for doing a great job. A little plug for you. And a hearty thank you on Thanksgiving week. But the point is that all of this copy was generated using a tool called Writer. Oh, come on. That's another point I'm going to make in a second. A tool called Writer. So here, if I want to write about being a fractional CMO, I have different tools for the types of writing that I'd want to do. And all of these are templates that it then goes out and gathers the concepts and constructs the writing. What they're all built on, this is a tool that's built on top of something called GPT-3. And there's a handful of these platforms that then a tool like this builds an interface to. Sort of like the GPT-3 is all line code and APIs, and you've got to figure out how to interact with it, but it'll return things with instruction sets that these build. And so let's say I want to find, are you all familiar with AIDA? A writing framework?
Yes.
Oh. What is it?
It's attention, interest, decision, action.
Okay.
It's based on the Socratic model, opportunity, response, value, and next steps is another way people say it. So I want to get some copy back that's structured that way. Give me 3 variants, and I can have more factual to less factual, and high, medium, low, or just let the AI pick it for you. So let's say we want more factual. This is a B2B application. More factual, no creativity. And now it's writing.
So this is the Anthony Fauci version.
How's that? So here we go.
Yeah.
There's sample 1. A fractional CMO is a fraction of the cost of a full-time CMO. A fractional CMO is a fraction of the cost of full-time CMO. You all can read this. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I have written better with this.
Yeah, I find, have you ever tried the Ink for All product that, what's his name?
I actually did. I used it for a while.
Yeah. And how did it compare to these other ones?
I didn't use it for this. I used it for on-page analysis when we submit writing to clients. It's all, it's graded on its SEO on-page score.
Oh, so you used it for SEO.
For SEO, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what it's optimized for, is SEO writing. All right, we only have 36 seconds left. Anybody got a question? Thank you, Keith, for opening up this topic.
What's the cost of something like this?
I think I paid $100 for a year.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one that I mentioned, Ink for All, is like $15 a month or something. So really inexpensive.
Definitely check out Ink. It worked very well. I just ended up, we're a SEMrush shop.
Yeah, and it has here. I'll put it in the chat. Where's the chat? Sorry. So this is the ink for all. There it is. But use this one because then I get like 15%.
This is the trusted referral network, guys.
They're known.
And when
so I get like $5 a month if you spend 15. Use whatever one you want. Yeah, I don't think I've anybody bought for my my affiliate link yet, but anyway, it's worth exploring. I think as Keith pointed out that you know, the more and more tools are using AI. The $1.4 trillion is of course a huge number, but it's also very suspect. Not only because it's so large, but also it's how do you value, right? How do you apply a number to AI that's being used behind the scenes? My daughter, for example, does AI for Etsy, right? You know, they have, you know, her team, I think
$1.83 an hour of her work time is allocated to the AI.
Maybe, yeah, something
big
like
algorithm
that.
in the sky.
I think that's the entire marketing spend globally. I think that's probably where it comes from, and the assumption that it's all going to be AI driven.
Right.
Yeah, something
We're
like that.
Gonna sit at our max and talk.
Yeah. All right, let's go around the horn. I will put in the in order in which people showed up. We can probably take 3 minutes or so. This is so Geoff, Ari, Greg, Brian, Ron, Wendy, Keith, and then I will go. I'll put in a 3-minute timer. Don't have to use all 3 minutes. What are you up to? You know, what makes you unique? What's your differentiator in the market? After all, we are all marketers. So how do you differentiate yourself? What you're looking for? What types of leads are good for you? And how you can help other folks. And if you want to talk about how you make the perfect turkey within your 3 minutes, we're all ears. So Geoff, take it away.
All
and
right.
if everybody else would go on mute, I'm going to put it on speaker view so that the recording will show just Geoff. Thanks.
Okay. Well, I'm Geoff. I'm in Chicago. I am the case study guy, if you haven't figured that out yet. And fortunately, the way that we've structured our business, AI cannot write the case study stories that we do because they involve actual interaction with customers so that we can capture their quotes and their stories, and AI cannot generate those stories. So we are future-proof on that field. So AI, you can't catch me. Anyway, so yeah, I'm doing the book on case studies, came out December 1st. What I'm looking for right now is I'm kind of looking towards next year and what comes next after the book. I'm thinking maybe about creating a course. So if you know anybody that does course creation or helps people create courses for their businesses, that would be a big help. Thanksgiving, turkey. I am not doing a bird this year. I am doing turkey legs.
Wow.
Or something a little bit different.
Very
Sounds
cool.
medieval.
Bold.
Yeah.
That's good. It's always good to switch it up and be a little different on Turkey Day, right? Especially if you have people coming to multiple stops, right? If you have someone going to 3 different places and they have the same thing at all 3 places.
And everybody likes the leg anyway, right? That's
That's what I go for.
Juiciest part.
exactly. So if everyone get a leg, everybody's happy.
So Geoff, tell me how, you know, what are your best clients for case studies? Who does it really work for?
I was just in another networking group yesterday and we were talking about this, and kind of my initial feeling was tech companies and companies that have these new products that people don't quite understand or understand how they could be beneficial or valuable to them. So you get these case studies where you're telling how people have used these things so people can see the value and see themselves as using them. So that was my original initial thought. But then I was in this conversation yesterday and we were talking and saying, another good way to use case studies is in marketplaces that are flooded right now, like the coaching industry, because case studies are a differentiation in the marketplace and they can put you in front of people that might not see you otherwise in that overpacked marketplace.
Nothing's
Very
better than your customers telling your story. There's just no, in B2B, there is nothing else. And what you do is you help a company develop a franchise around what their customers say. And then once you have that core story built, you can do webinars on it. You can You can, have executive roundtables on it. You can do video, you can do a podcast, and there's just so many extensions from the core story that don't take executives time. It allows them to be in front and present video and written content to the world.
For sure.
All right, that's your 3 minutes. Thank you. Ari.
Hey guys, happy pre-Turkey Day. For the next few weeks, my family and I will be we'll be moving to another country, moving to Israel. So I'm looking to sell all my stuff right now. I've just separated as a full-time employee from Doctors Internet, which I was working for, which does primarily local medical marketing, but I'll be still working with them as a consultant while I'm doing some smaller projects on the side. So I'll be looking to connect with people on small web development projects, small local marketing projects, all of that while still working with my US clients and building some clientele overseas. In terms of Turkey, I went to I've never been to medieval times, but I always wanted to. I went to a Renaissance fair. My wife and I were in Florida and we went to a Renaissance fair with our 1-year-old and it was awesome. We didn't get a turkey leg, but they were everywhere. Has anybody been to medieval times here?
Yes. And
what's it? Is it as good as they say it is?
It's awesome. It's fun. It's good to do with kids. Back when I worked at a camp in high school and college, that was one of the field trips we took during the summer. And then I've been back as an adult with friends. My friend did her 30th birthday there now, 6-7 years ago. But it's fun. It's expensive, but it's fun.
It sounds pretty awesome.
The beers are this big too. If you're a fan of beer, they definitely give you the king size cup.
That sounds like a good plan.
And they don't charge you extra for the bubonic plague either, right? That just comes with it.
It comes with it.
Michael, you're such a downer always. Oh. Other than that, we live right now in Midtown, right by Columbus Circle, right by where the Macy's Day Parade is going to be. So tomorrow it's going to be very hard for me to get back to my apartment after dropping off my daughter at daycare, but it's pretty wild. They shut off everything, all the streets. It's pretty crazy, in a great way. It's really wonderful. All the balloons and all the people, they're setting up all the streets now with all the barricades. So the Macy's Day Parade is something really spectacular. If anybody gets an opportunity to check it out, please do. And hopefully I'll have some good stories about it afterwards.
And that's a great example of marketing. It's no longer the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, because Thanksgiving's too long. So it's the Macy's Day Parade.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I bought something from Macy's, but I like Thanksgiving now. So they marketed something.
All right. Greg Markowitz, one of our 2 guests today. Take it away.
All right. Thank you for having me, Michael. So Greg Markowitz, worked for a company called Breakthrough Digital. We're a fully remote digital agency. We were founded that way back in 2017. Have roughly 145, 150 employees across the US. And I work with really 2 groups. I work with other marketing agencies, such as website developers, SEO consultants, SEO writers, and I help them, maybe either white label our services or partner with them on different projects in terms of, SEM, social advertising, very big in programmatic, geofencing. And, we'll work with any type of client. So that brings me to the second group. We can also just work with clients directly. So any small business that has a goal and it has, a desire to get more business, whether that be online sales, make the phone ring, get some more form fills through the website. I always like to say, a lot of times you have these businesses that invest thousands and thousands of dollars in their website, but it's just sitting there looking pretty. It's not really doing anything for them. So I help them have that website return some of that investment right back to them. Some differentiators with Breakthrough. We don't have any minimum spends. Okay, so I literally sent out an RFP back to a client that is a Greek wedding band. They specialize in doing Greek weddings. $300 a month. No problem. We will take on that client. I worked with my barber when he first started with me. He was spending $250 a month. So we'll work with those really small niche businesses, all the way up to, major colleges, university, IT firms, spending hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars a year with us. So it's, we really can work with anybody. We don't shy away from the small little guy that is just starting out. And the other differentiator, which I've seen is pretty unique to the industry, is we don't really have a hard contract. If you're ever unsatisfied with the work we're doing, we let you out. There's no cancellation fee. There's really no risk. So I get actually quite a bit of agency referrals just from that. They might be a direct competitor with me, but they have somebody that's lined up and doesn't want to sign a hard 6 or 12-month contract. They want to give it a try for 3 months. Maybe it's a seasonal business, all those types of things. So I just added a small campaign for a Black Friday deal for one of my e-commerce clients. Called me last week, was like, hey, I want to put $1,000 one time just through Black Friday. No problem. Here it is, done. You don't have to worry about anything past that. So yeah, that's really it. I mean, we're very, we're open to working with, other agency partners. We also do give you the ability, if you are an agency, to white label our services fully. Our dashboard will give you a dashboard that has, your logo on it. It's going to be completely, looks like you're doing all the work. We also do pay out a 10% referral fee to any business for the life that they're a client.
May have a contact for you or a lead, a woman's got who works in the content marketing space of the content world. And she, I think, wants to do a Facebook spend, but it's small. So maybe who knows, maybe it'll turn into something, but I'll send it over to you.
I appreciate that. No, that'd be great.
Cool. Brian Butkowski.
Hello, Michael. Hello, everyone. It's been a while since I've been on, so I'm glad I was able to make it today, but appreciate everything that you do, Michael, and that this group is so, interesting, and there's so many different walks of life here, and it'll lead into a little bit of what's differentiating for me, but I like to learn about all the different people. Maybe I can make a connection here with Greg as well, but that could be helpful for me and my business. But to get into that, I'm Brian Butkowski. My company is Bomb Image. I'm in the Cleveland, Ohio area, but I like to say that I help entrepreneurs and professional service firms to gain clarity, confidence, and comfortability by demystifying branding and marketing. It means a lot, but really I work hand in hand with people to make them comfortable about figuring out what their message is, what that sounds and looks like, and then getting that dispersed to the world in the right way, figure out who their core audience is and make that happen. So getting back to the idea of what's unique about me is I help them from that top level understanding, but when needed, I have a simple knowledge of a lot of things, but when needed, I bring in experts, someone such as like a Greg, to help when it comes to whether it's website development, SEO, local search, a variety of other topics, videography. Like I do some myself, but I work with other videographers to, again, tell the story appropriately. So that's the one thing where I try to be as transparent as possible and work with my clients the way they need to be helped. So if I'm going to add value with something, I can do that, and I can be a consultant and take a fee if they're willing to pay that, or I can actually just make a referral to make sure that whatever needs to be done for that client can be done appropriately with or without me. I'd say the things that I'm looking for, the clientele that's really worked for me very well and has been a great partnership. And that's what I really like to say. It's cliche, but I look at my clients as my partners, but it is those solopreneurs. A lot of times it's lawyers who it's them, or they have a small team. It's financial advisors, CPAs, those types of professional service firms have been a really good fit for me to help them get to that level. Many of these people understand some marketing, but how do we get them, whether they have that lack of resource of time or expertise, how do we get them to that next level? And that's what I try to do with Bomb Image. I always like to say my passion is inspiring clients to create their bomb image.
Very cool. And that is a real background, if I recall correctly.
Yes, real background.
Wallpaper. Very cool.
Hey, Brian, real quick question for you.
Sure.
Michael, questions allowed during this time? I'm learning.
Sure.
So if you specialize with a lot of those solopreneurs, those people that, are one guy, one woman shops, maybe just starting out, are you familiar with America's Small Business Development Centers in your area?
Like SBA, that kind of thing?
Yep.
Yeah, I am familiar with them.
Okay, I was gonna say that's a great spot to really go. I'm the digital marketing ambassador for one of the Northern New Jersey chapters. So
Gotcha.
I've
I
worked
haven't
with-
delved into that too much, but yes, I am familiar, and I think that is a place to help people again where they are just starting out or need lots of help from the get-go.
And it grows, and once they trust you, it's it takes some time. It definitely, I started work with them in 2014,
Sure.
but it's a great organization, and they've also helped my clients, with a business plan or something else. It's just another value
Absolutely.
add that you can give your
Yes.
clients, but it also will give
What's
back
the
to you.
organization, please?
Yeah, sure. It's America's Small Business Development Centers.
And SBDC?
Yes, SBDC. Yep.
Okay.
They're usually out of colleges, depending where you're
Yes.
located. I work largely out of the one in Bergen County, New Jersey with Ramapo College.
So if you have a startup or you're looking to grow into a new market, they help you.
Yep,
get
that's
your
absolutely
business
something I can
plan
help
and
you with.
marketing plan.
Yeah,
It sounds like
they can
any small
start-
business assistance.
Yeah, start with no charge, and then obviously if needed, they can pay for extra services. It's a tremendous opportunity for many small businesses. Thanks for mentioning that, Greg.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Thank you, Greg, and thank you, Brian. Ron Hubsher.
Oh, well, welcome everybody. Good to see new faces and good to see some regular faces, which is great. Got a question for you guys. Have you ever sat around on a Friday just looking forward to your weekend? You just closed a big deal and you're all excited, and then about 20 minutes later, the customer calls you back looking for a big discount, and now you're kind of like, oh man, I was looking for my great weekend. What do I do? Do I push back hard on them? Do I risk losing the deal? Do I cave and not get paid what I'm worth? And you get really frustrated. We can make sure that never happens to you again. We run a sales and negotiation training and consulting company, and we specialize in negotiation training. Our ideal client is typically a business-to-business company, typically a lot of SaaS companies or med device companies or WebMD, so digital marketing companies. So we're always grateful for any referrals to any B2B sales organizations that can use improved negotiation skills. And then I have an ask from the group. My ask for the group is, we have interesting, Geoff, we have our book coming out in audio form. So, and it turns out audio form is about two times the length of the book. So if it takes about an hour to read the book, you get about 2 hours of audio. And what we want to do that is make that into digestible 1-minute pieces of content from the audio. And I was wondering if people knew how to do that or knew a good way to do that. So we have like 120, roughly about 130 minutes of audio. That's pretty cool stuff. And Greg, actually, Geoff, I'm sorry, when you're looking at your book, if you do it in audio, that becomes consumable content that people can use. And I just don't know what the best format or who does stuff like that. So if anybody knows people who take like audio and, make it into a square with a talking voice or something cool looking, that'd be great.
You should talk to the guy in Seattle, in Bainbridge, Bainbridge Island out in Seattle. John Parsons, he's in the group.
Yeah.
He does something. Did you speak with him already?
I have not spoke to him, but I figured what a great group to ask.
Yeah, so John Parsons is doing something where they're combining video segments with books and written content. You may be able to do something similar with audio, but it's sort of an more interactive way to bring video, potentially audio into more content.
Yeah.
So his company, I'll have to send you the information, is John Parsons.
Yeah, right now I saw something like Veeb. I don't know if anybody's ever used that. I just was online, and you can sort of like do a picture, and then it's got the talking voice and stuff like that. But I don't know if that's like the latest cutting edge.
Yeah. So let me I'll make that intro.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you. So that's okay. Audio or media integration. Okay. Let's see. Was it Wendy Marx? You may be on mute, Wendy.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm now unmuted. Well, nice to meet everybody, and thank you, Michael, for inviting me. And you've probably noticed, as I have, that a lot of very small business owners are terrific at what they do. But where they often fall short is being able to articulate what they do and to do the marketing. I find a lot, in fact, have a misperception about marketing. They think of your slimy used car salesman, and they just don't want to venture forth. And I love marketing. In fact, I've been in marketing for most of my career. And 3 years ago, I had my book, Thriving at 50 Plus, published, gave up an agency I had for a number of years, and started to focus exclusively on very small business owners, especially coaches and consultants, helping them nail their branding, their messaging, their positioning, their marketing. I've developed a program that takes somebody from messaging and positioning all the way through to lead gen. And as far as the type of client that I work with, it's, as I mentioned, a coach, a consultant, another type of small business owner, typically very small companies. Proud to say I'm in my encore career. I'm not interested in making my fortune. I'm interested in having more purpose and meaning. And that's what I do. That's why I do this, and I love it. It seems like there's probably some potentials here in terms of what people were saying. Ryan, it sounded like you may be doing some similar things to what I'm doing, and I look forward to getting to know everybody. And just want to share my untraditional Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're going to have barbecued ribs. We're going to have all the fixings. Just going to be my husband and myself, and we're going to have a total pig out. And if people were around, I would invite you.
Where are you based again, Wendy?
Based in Trumbull, Connecticut.
Oh, okay, not too far.
Yeah, and you said you were coming to Connecticut, I think.
Yeah, we're going up to Salisbury, which is the northwest corner in Litchfield County.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us for the first time.
Oh, well, my pleasure. And I've really enjoyed starting to get to know some folks.
Very cool. And let me know if you have an interest in potentially joining. I also have a potential contact for you who does something similar, but sometimes you see where there's potential synergies as opposed to competitive situations. Okay. Keith Reynolds.
Well, thanks for letting me reuse my notes from the Ferguson Library in Stamford, Connecticut, in the public speaking group there. Wendy, it's good to see you, a Connecticut person. I'm actually out in Denver now. My name is Keith Reynolds, and for those who don't know me, I am a fractional CMO. I had written a book. I had a full-time job and had written a book and was doing some public speaking, and I published the book. And within a few months, the pandemic hit, and so my road show was put to rest for a few years. And in this past year, I really built a business by promoting the book and public speaking and putting on events. And Michael, thank you very much for participating. But I really believe that all the video work that we're doing, like sitting right here, can be repurposed, and your thought leadership can be recorded this way and shared and help and be incorporated in your blogs. So one of the things we've done this year for our clients is take their roundtables or podcast and create snippets to put in their blog, and then use that blog to post on LinkedIn. So instead of doing all your publishing on LinkedIn and giving them the trust and authority that comes with publishing content in the algorithms like Google, which is the predominant one, put it on your own website and then share the link back to your website. And now you have a content hub, and you can take all these, digital meetings that you're attending and chop them up, put them on your blog. And when you share them, you're generating inbound links. And if you can get the person that you interviewed to give you a link back, you get a very high credibility link. And that's how Google respects you as a professional in the market is by sharing content like this. And this is an easy way to produce it. You sit on Zoom or StreamYard or Restream or a tool like that and capture the video, put it on YouTube, and get an intern or an associate level person to carve it up into pieces. The net result is we're seeing people's authority score, which is the way that a tool like SEMrush measures your website relative to all the other websites. And it tries to approximate how Google sees you. And remember, the idea that Google has is they want to replicate your customer and to deliver really great service to stay the top search engine. So it's all about relevance and trust. And when you're producing for Google, you are going to produce content for people. And that's what we help do by using Zoom and AI and build you a content calendar. So that's what we do as a CMO and building content hubs. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. And I will wrap it up. I don't want to keep you away from your traveling to your family, whatever, so I'll make it relatively quick. My name is Michael Bendit. And my core business is doing sales representation for about a dozen software development teams. And it's somewhat unique. People come to me because they don't really know where to go, or they need extra resources for a project that may be coming their way. For example, I do a lot of work with agencies, other digital agencies that may have some programmers on staff, but oftentimes those programmers are booked to the gills, and they come to me for overflow work. Because I've got a dozen teams, I can usually accommodate them one way or another. Those dozen teams tend to have different skills, so it gives me a breadth of capability across platforms and technologies as well. And the other dimension, or another dimension that makes a difference here, is onshore, offshore, dual shore. So as you know, if you go straight to India, you could get a team for maybe $20-30 an hour. But you have to deal with the offshore, the time zone differences, et cetera. I do have some offshore teams. They're excellent teams, but I would say most of my work is with my dual shore teams, where the principals, the client-facing people, are here in the US, but most of the developers are offshore. And that gives you the best of both worlds. You're working, or your client is working with somebody here in the US. They understand the culture in the same time zone. They understand the technology, but they're leveraging less expensive offshore resources. I just had a call this morning with a prospect. They had, and this is not uncommon, they were building a very simple mobile app, and they had two developers. The first guy did a decent job, but he was only skilled in part of it. The next guy they had was a disaster. And so now they've come to me and said, Michael, can you fix this? And so I had a call today with a dual shore team. The owner's based here in New York. His team's based in Uruguay. So it's more or less time zone aligned. And it's about a 105-person team, I believe, and they've got some real strong mobile capabilities. So they're going to come in at somewhere about $80 an hour. It's not as cheap as, if you went direct offshore, but it's going to save them a lot of money. And because they're dual shore, they've got somebody here in the US. In fact, only a few blocks away in Manhattan from the client. So best leads for me are small digital marketing agencies, small to mid-size, that need extra help with arms and legs, and benefit from being able to mark up our rates because we're typically delivering a dual shore or an offshore solution. So that's pretty much it. It's exactly 12:01. I'm going to get behind the wheel and drive a couple of hours. I wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving. Don't overeat. It's not good for you, but do enjoy it. And I liked, Wendy, when you said we're having ribs, we're going to really pig out. It was just perfect because, of course, more than likely those ribs, exactly.